This video is sponsored by Rail and Road Auction House, the Midwest's only dedicated home for transportation memorabilia. Give yourself a chance to own a piece of history by attending one of their upcoming online auctions. Register to bid by downloading the new Rail and Road app on your Apple or Android device, or visit rarauctions.com to join in on the fun. Whether you're new to the hobby or are a lifelong Railroadiana collector, Rail and Road has something for everyone. From porcelain to paper and signs to speeders, Rail and Road Auction House is the place to find your railroad treasure.
Lhoist is one of the world leaders, one of the two largest companies that manufactures lime and industrial minerals. And we're primarily concentrated in North America, Europe, including Central Europe, and South America. And we're expanding all the time. Lhoist is in the lime and industrial minerals business. So here in Crab Orchard, we have a very large plant with an underground mine. We mine a lot of high purity limestone products, which are shipped to manufacturers to make products for a lot of different industries. Some of the largest are the production of float glass and container glass and fiberglass products, animal feeds, plastics, rubber, chemicals, just a whole host of things that people use in everyday life and don't really know that limestone's a major part of. I'm David Pereira. I'm with the East Minerals region of Lhoist North America. Railroad's pretty darn critical. So railroads have been somewhat on a decline in this country for about 100 years. Trackage in the United States peaked around 1916 and is half of what it was then today. So about 17 or 18 years ago, the Norfolk Southern didn't want to run this little last section of railroad up here any longer, and so they came to Lhoist and said, if you guys want to continue to have rail service, you're going to need to take over the railroad. So in 2002, we took over this 16-mile stretch of railroad, which is a very complex mountainous pass, 15 bridges, and a long tunnel. So what we do is we load the rail cars up during the week and we take them down every day and interchange with the Norfolk Southern. We ship about 3,000 rail cars a year of product out of this mine. If we didn't have the rail service, that material would have to go by truck, and it's awfully expensive to ship to Michigan and Ohio and places like that by truck. Rail is by far the most efficient way to load these bulk materials that we ship.
On October 28, 2019, our friends from Lhoist North America graciously invited us to tour the loadout facility at their mine in Crab Orchard, Tennessee. In continuous operation for over 100 years, Lhoist's Crab Orchard site is one of the largest high-purity limestone mines in the region. To transport the ground limestone product, Lhoist maintains and operates a 16-mile rail line from Crab Orchard to Rockwood, Tennessee. The mine rosters 3 active B-23-7 locomotives, 2 of which are high hoods.
My name is Ray Neff. I'm a logistics manager for Lhoist North America. I think Lhoist is a very good organization to work for. They're solid and they've got a great culture. Many times I refer to myself or my position as being an entrepreneur, because they give you the ability to be responsible for your area of the business and grow with it as you see fit. So we do industrial grade minerals. As far as our markets, we've got glass, we've got feed markets, scrubber stone markets. There's several markets that our material actually goes into. We just recently leased 220 private cars that we can service our customer and our markets with.
Number 3138 was originally built by General Electric in 1978 for Seaboard Coastline as number 5149 and is capable of 2,250 horsepower. The locomotive eventually became part of the CSX system in 1980, where it remained in revenue freight service until 2001, when the locomotive was purchased by Franklin Industrial Minerals, now Lhoist North America, to serve on the former Tennessee Central Railway. In 2012, Lhoist painted the entire locomotive fleet into the beautiful gray, blue, and white corporate scheme. With vintage locomotives exceeding 40 years old, Lhoist takes great pride in maintaining its equipment. In fact, the mining company has a full-service locomotive shop facility complete with a sanding tower, 2 tracks, a service bay, and a parts department for locomotive maintenance and repair. Continual investment in rail has proven to be a healthy return on investment for Lhoist. After touring the shop facilities, we would venture over to the mine's loadouts, safely guided on the property grounds by Lhoist management. At the loadout facility, GP40-3 number 3043 and B23-7 number 4023 were busy switching out cars for today's outbound freight train to Rockwood. An additional train crew was on site and was busy shoving empty cars to the mine loadout. In 2006, Franklin Industries, the former operator of the mine, was sold to the Chemical Lime Company, a subsidiary of Lhoist North America. Crab Orchard is known as the stone capital of the Volunteer State because of the large deposits of both sandstone and high-purity limestone. For over 100 years, mining has been a huge part of the economy in East Tennessee, and Lhoist continues that tradition, producing 3,000 carloads per year on average. 3,000 carloads equates to 300,000 tons of product. Lhoist's Crab Orchard site produces over 1 million tons of high-purity limestone per year. The product is taken from the mine by trucks to the plant, where it is then milled to various sizes for different customers. The product is usually referred to as ground limestone, but is also commonly referred to as calcium carbonate, which is the main ingredient in the finished product. 4021 slowly positions the cars for loading the ground limestone. Lhoist's experienced employees safely load the product 5 days per week. Prior to 2016, Lhoist used a small 92-ton GE switcher locomotive to handle the cars at the loadout. However, after acquiring the railroad's lone EMD, number 4021 is generally assigned to switching duties at the mine. The switcher is now on display in downtown Crab Orchard, where it acts as a billboard of sorts for Lhoist. Typically, Lhoist uses 2 locomotives to pull freight trains over its 16-mile rail line. However, when trains are heavier than normal, an additional locomotive is added to the consist for enhanced braking abilities. Since today's train was quite heavy, 4021 would be added to the consist. GP 40-3 number 3043 would lead the train east to Rockwood, with 4021 leading on the return trip back to Crab Orchard. Lhoist's high-hood B23-7 locomotives were built by General Electric in 1981 for the Southern Railway and were set up to run long hood forward. Just over a year later, they would become part of Norfolk Southern's roster, where they operated in revenue service for 22 years before being acquired by Franklin Industrial Minerals in 2001. Lhoist number 3999 was also acquired in 2001 by Franklin Industrial Minerals as a parts source for its 3 other GEs. The locomotive has sat in place for nearly 20 years and is likely to be scrapped within the next several years. The train would depart shortly after 11 a.m. Central. We would follow it along the entire length of the railroad, capturing scenes at Ozone, Westall, the Willet Hollow Tunnel, and the Rockwood interchange before chasing the train back up the Cumberland Plateau in the afternoon. The first location we caught the train was at the curved bridge along Route 70, which is just west of Ozone. Lhoist has 11 major bridges between Crab Orchard and Rockwood. Most are of wood or steel construction that include concrete supports. The mining company has made major investments in the railroad's infrastructure, upgrading many of the bridges over the years with new ties, rail, and supports. Ozone is a popular location to capture Lhoist trains in action. The small, unincorporated community is located in Cumberland County, Tennessee. Situated atop the Cumberland Plateau, it is home to Ozone Falls, a beautiful 110-foot waterfall created by the flow of Fall Creek into the gorge south of town. Because of its picturesque beauty and easy access, Disney selected Ozone Falls for filming scenes for the live-action 1994 movie The Jungle Book. Today, Ozone Falls is a popular vacation destination for travelers from out of state and has become a popular swimming hole in recent years. Millstone Creek Bridge is one of the longest bridges on the Lhoist's main line, spanning 930 feet long. The bridge is visible most of the year to motorists traveling along Interstate 40. Daysville was once a station stop on the Tennessee Central. In the 1930s, a siding was constructed here that was capable of handling trains at 55 cars long. It is unknown when the siding was removed, but the ties where the switch once existed are still visible. To the east of Westall is the Willet Hollow Tunnel. Easily accessible from Route 70, the East End Portal is a popular location for railroad photographers to capture trains before they descend the nearly 5-mile-long 2% grade to Rockwood. The tunnel is at an elevation of 1,362 feet, while the Rockwood interchange is at 845 feet. Lhoist takes great pride in its strong safety record. As an additional safety measure, the conductor follows the train from behind in a high-rail truck. The truck allows the conductor to keep a better eye on rail conditions, giving him the opportunity to look closely for track flex and rail spreading. Rockwood, Tennessee is where Lhoist North America interchanges cars with Norfolk Southern Railway. At the interchange point, we set up our cameras to capture the vintage locomotives performing switching duties. With a population of 5,500 people, Rockwood is located at the base of the Cumberland Plateau along the Tennessee and Clinch River valleys. The city was once an important hub for the iron industry and was home to the Roan Iron Company, which closed in 1929. After the outbound cars had been switched into place at the interchange, the train crew prepared for the journey back to Crab Orchard. The westbound train of empties would consist of 16 covered hoppers and 1 Norfolk Southern gondola. Locomotive number 4021 would lead the train long hood forward up the steep 2% grade over Walden's Ridge. The train departed Rockwood around 3 p.m. Eastern. The 3 locomotives would be working hard as they climbed 517 feet of elevation to the Willet Hollow Tunnel. Between 2008 and 2009, the Willet Hollow Tunnel experienced a series of collapses that forced Lhoist to repair and reinforce the tunnel walls with concrete. The tunnel scaffold remains intact just outside the east end portal and is ready for use in the case another catastrophic collapse occurs. On the west end of the tunnel, the repair work to the portal foundation is evident, with a steel beam set in place to help prevent collapses. East of the community of Westall, Lhoist crosses the Piney Creek Bridge. Nicknamed the Time Zone Bridge, Piney Creek is where the central and eastern time zones are divided. We caught up with the train again at Daysville Road as it continued in the golden hour light back to Crab Orchard. Due to the fact that there are many low-hanging tree branches along the railroad's right-of-way, most of Lhoist's locomotives are equipped with semi-truck style horns. The more expensive train horns were frequently damaged and were of great cost to the railroad. At over 1,600 feet above sea level, ozone is named so for the fresh mountain air found high atop the Cumberland Plateau. Settlers first arrived in the early 1800s, and when the railroad was completed in 1898, a depot, a siding, and section houses were built here. As the train continued west, we were treated to a view of the Route 70 curved bridge from a fixed camera atop 4021. On the ground, we caught up with the train again at Renfro Hollow. In 1918, a spur track was built here to serve a coal mine not far from this location. 5 years later, the spur was removed. The train arrived back at Crab Orchard around 4 p.m. Central Time. Here, the locomotives are cut away from the empties and stored over the weekend. Since 4021 is the plant switcher these days, the crew would separate it from the two other locomotives, taking the engine light back to the loadout facility. With 4021 in position and at the loadout station, the other 2 locomotives were cut from the empties. Truly, Lhoist North America has an impressive operation in East Tennessee. Over the years, they have proven that their investment in rail transportation has paid off. Thanks to Lhoist, the former Tennessee Central Main Line is alive and well and will continue to be a return on investment for many years to come. Delay in Block Productions recognizes Lhoist's efforts to preserve historic rail equipment and would like to thank them for their friendliness and hospitality to the rail fan community. We thoroughly enjoyed our visit to the Crab Orchard facility and appreciate Lhoist's personnel for safely guiding us around the property. To our viewers, thank you for watching and supporting Delay in Block Productions. We hope you enjoyed this exciting presentation on Tennessee's mining railroad. Until next time, happy railroading.